In yesterday's video, I showed you what I believe the effects of the rising interest rates are going to be on the stocks that I own in the BUS 12 and the BUS 13 portfolio as interest rates go up on corporate debt for the most part from about 4% to 10%, and how it's going to affect the companies that I own. So if you didn't see that, I would suggest you stop this video now and go down into the description, and I will give you a link to yesterday's video so you see that. Because then what I want to do today is show you how it's going to affect the three motor companies that are on the verge of probably bankruptcy in the very near future. And then I want to show you how it's affecting the major stocks that Berkshire Hathaway owns. And then I'm going to show you how it's going to affect every stock in the S&P 500 and how you can access that data so you come away with a knowledge of knowing what you own. How is this? We know interest rates are going to go up. Corporate interest rates are going up. How is that going to affect the stocks that you own? In some cases, it's going to wipe out 60, 70% of their profits. Yeah. So you need to know this, and you need to know what you own.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
If you're an investor of any type, it's critical that you understand this. This chart here is showing you what's going to happen to interest rates. And it's showing you investment grade, where you can see they were down around 3.5%, 4%. High yield, that's a little bit not so good of interest rates, higher interest rates. The average in 2022 was 4%. Well, as these corporate debts re-up, they're usually 3 to 5 years. They're going to re-up at 10%. So what's going to happen is your cost of debt is going to go up. So it's important that you know how much debt does the companies that you own have, and how is that going to affect their earnings, because how it affects their earnings is going to affect how it's going to affect their stock price. So if you don't know what their earnings are and what their debt is, you don't have any idea what's coming. And here I'm showing you a chart that shows when these corporate loans are going to mature and thus be refinanced. And as you can see, it's approaching $600 billion in this year, and then it just climbs to a height of 1.3 trillion in 2028. So most of the debt by 2028 will be refinanced. So what I wanted to know is how is it going to affect the stocks that I own, so I know what to get away from, okay? And so let me just show you some. This is Apple. It has a debt of $93 billion. At 4% interest, we can anticipate that it is paying interest of about $3.7 billion per year. When that goes to 10%, that 3.7 will go up to 9.3. Okay, this is their current income. So you take away you subtract the 3.7 from the 9.3, and you say, okay, that's going to affect their future income. So their income is going to drop from 112 billion to 106 billion. That's a drop of 5.5%, 5.29%. My next question was how much cash they got. Can they pay that debt off? And I looked it up and I searched it, and yeah, they could pay that debt off. So this isn't going to hurt Apple in any serious way. However, let's look at Amazon. This shocked me. They have a debt of $74 billion compared to Apple's $93. But let's look at their earnings. Their earnings are $17 billion as opposed to $112 billion. So taking this increased interest out of their earnings is going to drop their earnings by 33%. That's huge. That's going to basically take the price of my stock and take it down. Now, do they have enough cash to pay it off? No. No, they don't. They can only pay off 4% of that debt. So what's going to happen to Amazon's stock price? It's going to tank. Yeah, it's going to tank. Let's look at another one that shocked me. This is Oracle. Yeah, that's Oracle. Their profits are going to drop as a result of increased rates by 64%. I got to get out of there. Meta, 20%. No, that's Modine. Meta, no big deal. And even if it did, they've got enough cash to pay off their debt. Then the other things that are important is we're going to see some companies such as Intel. They now have a $1.8 billion in losses. That's going to go to 2.8. Here you've got Marvell. Here you've got PSTG. Going to affect their profits it's going to increase their losses by 55%. We've got to get away from those companies, all right? So then I got to thinking, how's it going to affect the car companies? Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. Some sizable debt, very sizable debt, okay? As that interest goes up, it's going to impact Ford's earnings by 85%, going to bring them down by 85%. Stellantis going to bring their earnings down by 96%. Do they have the cash on hand to pay it out? No. General Motors is in the red. Stellantis is in the red. Then you add to all their nightmares about the unions, and you can see they can't raise their wages by 40%. They can't put them back on pensions. They can barely stay alive because of their debt service going up. So I wondered, okay, does Berkshire Hathaway, do they know what's going on in their stocks? Well, we know they own Apple. Apple's in good place. Bank of America. It is going to bring their profits because of their debt from $81 billion in income to $8.4 billion. An 859% decrease in their earnings because of their debt service. Do they have cash to pay off their debt? They can pay off about 3.6% of it. No, they don't. Neither does American Express. And their earnings are going to come down 100%. Chevron, not a big effect. Apple, not a big effect. Occidental Petroleum, a little bit more secure. So then what I said was, my God, we, the investing world, need to know this. No one else is talking about it, that these people are going to lose 85 to 96% of their profits because of their debt service. So I said, I need to do this same study on every stock in the S&P 500. And that's what I did. And that's what I want to make available to you. Because what you see right here in this chart is going to create the next financial crisis. I feel like Michael Burry. I think I'm the only guy who recognizes what's about to happen. We've got another financial crisis coming that is going to bring this stock market crashing down, and no one's safe from it because it's going to be so large. In the past, in the financial crisis of 09, 10, 11, it was all about real estate. This is corporate debt, and it's going to affect every corporation in the world, and nobody is talking about it. So I am. So how do you get access to this? You get on the bus. You come to my channel, to my website. You sign up for our platinum level. It's going to cost you $60 a month, but it could save you hundreds of thousands as you get access to this. This sucker covers every one of the stocks in the S&P 500, and it tells you what is the effect it's going to have on their earnings. SO, don't even know who it is. 186% of their earnings are going to go away. Look at them. They're all there. I've got to do some refining on it. I'm going to actually sort through it and put the yellow on it so that you can easily spot who the losers and who the gainers are. Okay, that's what I see in the future. I see something bigger than the 08-09 financial crisis because it affects everybody. It's not just real estate. It's not just the banks. It's debt service. And that debt service is going to increase by 2.5x on every company in the world. If you want access to this information, I've got it for you. I'll make it available.